Welcome to week 37 of your 2019 adventure to accomplish something this year that you have passion for. Now, this Saturday morning in the USA is the full moon in Pisces. So this episode will talk about how you can use the power of nature to your advantage. Hello, and welcome to Harmony Enterprises. I'm your host, Carrie Fox, and this show is all about looking at the energy of this full moon. But first, let's briefly look at the moon cycles as they apply to your 2019 project planning. We'll look first at the new moon, and this is when the sunlight is not being reflected back onto the planet Earth, so it looks as though the moon is dark. So dark moon is new moon, and it's all about new beginnings. It's like a breath of fresh air to open yourself to inspiration and to opportunities. And then after the new moon, in the time leading up to the full moon, when the sunlight is fully reflected back onto Earth, that's the building time. That's the time to take your ideas and your inspirations and to build on them. It's a productive time. So now it's full moon time. This is the culmination or the celebration for whatever you accomplished up to that point. The full moon shines its light on and blesses your accomplishment. And then the time after the full moon is the retrospection time, the time to relax and take a breath and really evaluate and look at what you've accomplished. Maybe to look at what worked and what didn't work and make any adjustments to get ready for the next new moon where you will have your new beginnings again. So the frequency of the timing of these new moons and full moons is that the moon goes through one full cycle in about 28 days. So it goes from new moon up to full moon back to new moon pretty much once a month. You will have the assistance of the moon's energy every month for you to start a project, build on that project, celebrate it, and evaluate it. And of course, I know in life there are projects and ideas that have their own timelines. But if you have the luxury, consult the moon cycles to assist your projects. Just think about that. If you have a staff, they are going to be so much more proactive and productive between the new moon and the full moon, when the light energy is building, and so much more ability to be introspective between the full moon and the new moon when the energy is waning. The moon's phases are actually, by the way, considered to be 2 weeks long. So the phase of the full moon is considered to start a week before the full moon and end a week after the full moon. Same thing with the new moon. It's considered to start, the influence begins to start 1 week before the new moon to 1 week after the new moon. So now that we have that overview, let's take a moment for me to remind you of our motto. We embrace and encourage you to live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. Which means that when you are able to look at the world from that point of view, you're also able to see how the phases of the moon can affect the planet and your life. So, how the full moon affects the earth and water and tides and us. Now, most of you have heard the stories about how people get a little crazy around full moon time, that things get out of control, that more people end up in the hospital or in jail. Well, the main reason for all those stories is because when so much of the sun's light and energy is shining back onto the planet Earth, many people don't know how to react or what to do with all that extra energy. It throws them off course, so to speak. It stimulates them. For example, many people become aware that they don't need as much sleep during full moon times. Now, during this September harvest moon, Nina Khan of Bustle.com says, as the planet of dreams and illusion, Neptune is going to be side by side to this full moon, and it's going to make all of us feel a little foggy-brained when it comes to visualizing our next steps or even identifying our own wants and needs. So that's going to make this full moon a little different than normal full moons. And she says, we'll be super deep in our feelings and emotion, and it signifies unavoidable changes, endings, and new beginnings. So, how do we deal with the shifting emotional tides and the chapters that are going to be closing? Listen, just be gentle with yourself. As long as you don't give in to that extra pressure. Gentleness, self-compassion, and self-care are the words for this time of the month. Soon things will begin to take shape again, and your goals and your feelings and your trust in the universe will become even more clear. The other part of this month of September is that later in the month on the 23rd, that's the fall equinox. That's the time when there's 12 hours of daylight and 12 hours of nightlight. And then fall proceeds into the days of winter, where there will be less and less hours of sunlight, so our days seem shorter. And in the northern hemisphere, we are falling into and towards the hibernation of winter, slowing down, shutting down into a time of rest and reflection. So now, more on this particular September 2019 full harvest moon. This full moon, with Jupiter at its side, may actually bring kind of a test of faith to some people. They may find themselves feeling moody, or maybe some anger or impulsive reactions, or you may feel some embarrassment or disappointment or deception. This is a time for sure to avoid putting chemicals in your body or influencing yourself. Avoid gambling, avoid drugs, avoid gurus who are going to try to talk you into something, and avoid get-rich schemes. And also, if you sense yourself reacting, getting upset, just take a deep breath and remind yourself, this is how this full moon energy might be affecting you. I want you to really listen to your instincts and your inspiration. They may allow a relationship that you're in to evolve to a much deeper level, or you may feel that it's time to be free and to move on. Anything in a state of decay in your life can be reborn during this particular full harvest moon. You can also get to the cause maybe of a bad habit or an addiction. You may find yourself able to really probe under the surface to solve mysteries or investigate crimes and secrets. It's a really deep time of introspection. Your intuition is very strong, and it can help guide you on this particular part of your journey. Now, to help with that, this full moon is in the constellation Phoenix, which is going to suggest that this full moon can be a positive one for transformation and rebirth. It may even help you to purge some of your emotional baggage. Pretty cool, huh? So, if you like my view of the world and would like a free gift from me, I created this ebook called Feel Loved, Nurtured, and Supported. Accept these 7 free gifts from Mother Nature. Now, the reason I wrote this is because I talk to so many people who feel alone, or they feel lonely, and they don't feel that they have any support or anyone loving them and taking care of them. So I created this easy to read reminder for people to feel and appreciate how they can feel loved, nurtured, and supported, and to be aware of their view of the world and to include their relationship with Mother Earth. Now, you can request your copy by sending me an email at feellovedbook@harmonyenterprises.net. It's completely free, no strings attached, and I hope it helps you, or if you know someone else who has a tendency to be sad and feel lonely, you might download it for them. It's really a cool book, and people are responding well to it. So that's it for today's episode on this 37th week of our 2019 adventure. Until next time, I'm Carrie Fox with Harmony Enterprising. I'm Carrie Fox with Harmony Enterprises, reminding you to live in harmony with the infinite wisdom that dreamed you into being. Bye for now.